After her parents were found dead in their bedroom, this teenage girl turned to TikTok, posting tearful videos and tagging crime pages to get their attention. But what no one knew was that investigators were already watching her closely. Sarah Grace Patrick was a 17-year-old high school senior in Carroll County, Georgia. She lived with her mother, Kristin Brock, and her stepfather, James Brock, in a small, quiet neighborhood not far from the Alabama border. Her younger half-sister, Jaylee, was 6 years old. Kristin worked in local healthcare. James was a longtime employee of a regional company. To most people in the community, they were just a regular family. No arrests, no known trouble. Sarah had a modest social media presence, mostly selfies, music clips, and occasional posts about mental health. Nothing alarming, nothing that stood out. But according to police, things inside the home weren't as peaceful as they looked. There were tensions between Sarah and her parents. Some reports described strict house rules. Others said arguments had become more frequent in the months before the shootings. Friends claimed Sarah had started pulling away, keeping to herself, and avoiding conversations about her home life. Still, no one expected what would happen next. On the morning of February 20th, 2025, Jaylee walked into her parents' bedroom and found them both lying still in bed. At first, she thought they were asleep, but they weren't breathing. She ran to Sarah, confused and scared. That's when Sarah picked up the phone and called 911. Her voice was calm, too calm. When police arrived, they found Kristin and James Brock dead from gunshot wounds to the head. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken glass, no damage to the door. Nothing was missing. The scene was quiet, undisturbed, like whoever had done it didn't have to break in because they were already inside. That same day, Sarah posted a video to TikTok, tearful, shaking. She asked for prayers, tagged crime pages, and said she didn't know what to do. But police were already starting to ask their own questions. At first, investigators treated it like a tragedy. 2 parents shot in their bed, a child traumatized, a teenager in shock. But as they spent more time with Sarah, things started to feel off. She didn't cry when they told her both victims had been killed. She didn't ask who could have done it. She didn't ask why. She gave short, precise answers. Her voice stayed steady, even when the conversation turned to her little sister. Who had been the one to find the bodies? Officers didn't accuse her of anything. They didn't press. But they started taking notes. Later that same day, Sarah posted her first TikTok video. Her eyes were red. She was crying. The caption asked for prayers, but not long after that, she posted again. And this time, she tagged popular true crime pages. She told them her parents had been murdered and said their story needed to be heard. The comment section filled with sympathy. Viewers called her strong, brave, heartbroken. But some noticed how carefully the videos were made. The lighting was clean. The framing was deliberate. The way she delivered her words felt more controlled than emotional. She started posting more frequently. Videos talking about grief, about loss, about how she was handling the aftermath. In one of them, she said the story could go viral. In another, she invited people to share it. To many, it looked like a teenager searching for comfort online. To detectives, it looked like someone carefully curating the story, before anyone else had a chance to ask questions. Investigators reviewed the scene and confirmed it wasn't a robbery. Nothing was stolen. There were no signs of forced entry. The front door was locked. The windows were intact. A .40 caliber handgun was used in the murders. It was found inside the house and belonged to James Brock, Sarah's stepfather. Both victims were shot while they slept. There were no defensive wounds, no signs of a struggle. Whoever pulled the trigger moved through the house calmly. They knew where the weapon was. They didn't force anything open. They didn't panic. Police searched Sarah's devices and pulled her digital history. In the days before the murders, she looked up how to load and fire a .40 caliber handgun. One article showed how to remove the safety. Another showed where to aim. The searches were still saved on her device. Sarah didn't have an alibi. There were no records showing she left the house. No cameras captured anyone else coming in. No one else had access to the gun. On July 8, 2025, nearly 5 months after the murders, Sarah Grace Patrick walked into the Carroll County Sheriff's Office with her biological father. She turned herself in. Police arrested her and charged her with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault. She was booked as an adult, and the teenager who once told the internet She lost everything, was now accused of taking it all away herself. News of Sarah's arrest spread fast. Local headlines turned national, and her face began appearing on the same true crime channels she had once tagged herself. Some creators deleted their original videos, others re-uploaded them with a different tone. On social media, the reaction split. Some people believed she was guilty, others defended her. A Facebook group called I Stand with Sarah Grace Patrick appeared almost overnight. Supporters shared photos of Sarah with her parents, posted long captions about grief, and insisted the media had gotten it wrong. Then more details came out. At the funeral, Sarah wrote a message that she placed next to her parents' urns. It ended with 2 words: "I'm sorry." To police, it sounded like a confession. To her friends, it was just a daughter saying goodbye. Investigators said they collected a mountain of physical and digital evidence. But one thing remained missing: a motive. Sarah never spoke publicly about what happened. Her legal team didn't offer an explanation. And the police still couldn't say exactly why her parents were killed. Her trial hasn't started yet. The next hearing is set for August 11th, 2025. Until then, Sarah sits in detention, facing 2 murder charges, while the public keeps arguing about what really happened inside that house. Sarah stopped posting. The TikToks disappeared. The crying videos, the prayers, the calls for justice, gone. Her account went silent. She never gave a public statement. She never explained the search history. She never addressed the gun. Now she sits behind a locked door, waiting for her trial. The message she left at the funeral is still part of the case file. 2 words written by hand next to her parents' ashes: "I'm sorry." And no one knows who she was saying it to.